to.
All right, moving on. Now we go to the Scuderia Ferrari, where things are not looking very good.
Yeah, my big question was Australia's struggle a one-off. Kind of, sort of, apparently not. The car seems about the third fastest. I think you and I can probably agree on that. Depending on the weekend, it might be a little bit faster than the Red Bull right now, but it's definitely slower than the Mercedes. Excuse me. Strategy was better for the sprint, right? I mean, pretty easy to not mess up when you don't have to pit, but it didn't matter in the end with the disqualifications. So not a great start through 2 rounds. P8, P10, if I'm not mistaken, in Australia, and then sprint was fantastic. I mean, we all thought coming out of that sprint, oh my God, like Ferrari, they're here.
Yeah.
Like it was just a crazy weather weekend. We could toss it out. Here we are. I want to toss a fun thing that I learned as we were getting close to this podcast, though, which is the last time I think Ferrari won championships was a season where McLaren won the first 2 races.
Don't love that. Don't love that at all.
That's not ominous. But I feel like Ferrari are just in such a weird spot.
History repeats itself until it doesn't, Tristan.
Until it doesn't.
You know what they say.
But yeah, strategy I think was a little bit better. There are a lot of questions about the communication between Lewis Hamilton and his race engineer, and a little bit of what's the best way of putting it? I think F1 TV maybe made things look a little more stressful than they were.
A little bit dramatized.
Yeah, but in the end, just not a great start. Where are they placed at right now as far as the constructors pecking order? I want to say they're P5 right now. They're ahead of Aston Martin. I know Williams, you mentioned earlier, were ahead. Yeah, they are P5 currently, tied with Williams at 17 points apiece, only 3 points ahead of Haas, and then Aston Martin, Lance Stroll carrying the squad right now, 10 points. Yeah, how do you feel about Ferrari right now?
I feel the same way that I felt coming into the season. For many of the TLPs, if you remember, for our first episode of this year, I kind of lowered my expectations for Ferrari by a large margin.
Large marge?
And I would say getting off to a slow start, let's just call a spade is nothing new for Ferrari. It was surprising that Lewis got the win. Even Lewis was surprised that he got the victory for the sprint.
Oh, he was surprised when he got pole.
Yeah, so it kind of shows you what they're expecting for this year. I think P4, I think 4th fastest on the grid is, because you said they're 3rd fastest on the grid.
It's between them and Red Bull right now.
I think it's between them and Max. I think it's between the Ferraris and Max.
That's a very fair way.
Who drives the car the fastest? I think if Max is on a good track, he has a good weekend, and the car's ready, I think Max is faster. If not, then I think the Ferraris are just a slight bit quicker. Of course, placing Mercedes second and McLaren first, but I don't think Ferrari's gone off to the start that a lot of Ferrari fans were hoping for. But for me personally, Ferrari has looked exactly how I thought they were. And that is a slow start, hoping the upgrades help the season tremendously.
I think slow start's kind of the name of their game. I can't remember. At least
so it's botching calls.
Well, like since 2022 is the last time I think we saw them start off like anywhere close to the front, when they were still battling with the Red Bulls, and a season arguably that they let slip away because of bad strategy. So 2023 obviously dominated by Red Bull. Last year, McLaren and Red Bull pretty much highlighted the season. But because of how that season ended, because they were still able to finish P2, and because of the trajectory we saw that car going in, I think we all expected they were going to walk into the season and be within at least a couple tenths of McLaren. And right now, they just wildly seem inconsistent. They're going to take this weekend that we have off before Japan, and I think they're going to utilize that time to just regroup, recenter, and get focused. Fred Vasseur, for as fun of a personality as we see him in media,
very serious guy.
This dude knows what he's doing.
Oh, yeah.
And he knows how to build a winning culture. He knows how to build a winning team. This is the best driver lineup on the grid still, in my opinion. I think they're going to start figuring stuff out. We will see Ferrari win Grand Prix weekends this year. That I still feel that way. And because Lewis got that early success, like the taste is there to make it happen again.
Of course.
We just need to see them being more consistent.